Hello and welcome to a brand new spin-off podcast from the people that brought you Insane in the Membrane.
Insane in the...
Fem Brain.
Hello, Rich Wilson here with the brand new podcast Insane in the Fembrain, where we talk to strong, powerful women. It launches June 2020, but before we begin, here's another chance to catch up with some of the other strong, powerful women that have appeared on Insane in the Membrane. This third episode is another chance to catch up with the chat I had with the wonderful comedian and spoken word artist Sarah Callaghan. This was first released in December 2019. So here we are, Sarah Callaghan. So what are your thoughts on men? Imagine if that was it. I'd start like that.
Shit.
Of all the men you've known...
That's not good.
So how you feeling? You alright?
I'm not too bad at the moment, yeah. It's been a funny year. It started off pretty mad and then it's progressively got better.
Good.
So, yeah.
Hang on, let me shut that door. I keep forgetting that it picks up all the cars outside.
Bloody hell. That's a good mic.
It's fucking great. It's too good. Hold on.
Did Joe tell you when I got here, I got to the wrong house. I went to the wrong house.
Oh yeah.
And they told me where it was. I was like, oh yeah, sweet. And then she come down the road and she was like, if you're seeing Richard, you can give him his post.
Do you know what? They keep sending stuff to the other place, and then it's like it was a fine as well. And I've had this back and forth with whoever it was that fined me, and I'm like, I didn't receive a letter. They go, well, we sent it to you. I go, well, you didn't. And then they send this big long letter going, oh well, your details, it's your responsibility to have your details correct with DVLA and all that shit. And I'm like, they are. It's just someone in their office can't be bothered to write out anyway. Yeah, so that's cost me 180 quid now because that letter went that way. Dickheads,
well, at least
mate.
she gives you the letters back then.
This is why I was watching the Joker film, and I was watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate to this. Getting busted up by society, getting pushed down, and
it's like that falling down. Yeah,
oh man, the amount of times I've nearly had a falling down moment when you go, that's what? That's nearly a £5 for a coffee. And they go, yeah, well, it's Colombian jumping beans, whatever it is.
Jumping beans.
Like, yeah. You go, no, mate, I'm not. There's a thing someone wrote on Twitter, and they were saying about the Joker film, and they were going, oh, it'll make people want to rise up and you know, smash things up, and you know, like, that's not, the film won't do that. People are already feeling that. You're silencing people. People are getting squashed down.
And there's no, you know, the easy way out is to just go and then everyone and then you're the bad guy, but it's about channeling that into something. And if there's no avenues for you to channel that frustration, that anger, whatever, then of course it is going to manifest itself into this like big ball of rage, and then that's it.
Like every now and again you'll get an artist will pop up out of it. Like punk popped up out of all the, you know, the despair and the shit in the 70s. And then you'll get artists that'll pop up out of it. Grime has come up out of that sort of thing. But not everybody has that, has an artistic view, world's eye view. So it's not easy for everyone. It's all very well, like people go, oh, you should channel it into something or this, that, and that. But some people just haven't got an option. You know
exercise,
what I mean?
then,
yeah,
I would say. That's definitely, you know, it's this, it's the most underrated antidepressant, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, I always think, what would I do if I didn't have any art forms to put it into? But I mean, I guess it is that.
You have to be active. Oh man,
it's easier said than done, but that is the only other solution, I think.
I was meant to go for a run today, but I didn't bother. Every day this week, I'm like, right, I'm going to do it. Just go and do it. There's no reason. Don't start all that. Oh, I'll wait till Monday.
Yeah.
Just go and do it.
I play them a montage in my head, you know, from a scene from a film, like it's like the Sarah getting her shit together montage, and there's like a sick track playing in the background, and it's me going gym, me like running through like a forest, and then it's like eating good food, and then it fast forwards, it's like 6 months time, and I'm looking banging, my skin's good, I've lost loads of weight,
friends.
And then I'm actually like open my eyes, I'm still in bed, like I'm like fuck, I wish that was real.
No, I keep meaning to get my running stuff out, so I just get up in the morning and go.
You got all the gear?
Yeah. Well, I had a personal trainer. A couple of years ago, and he was brilliant. And he said, he goes, you don't need to go. You don't need to run miles. He goes, just get up in the morning straight away.
How would they?
Not even that. He said, have a glass of water and go out. He goes and go for a walk, half an hour, just a fast walk. You don't even have to jog. Do that before you do anything else, and then you come back. and then you have a bit of porridge. He goes, but measure it all out. Don't just have a bowl of porridge.
Yeah.
And then there's things like having rolled oats. Don't get these like sweetened and sugared and things like that. Just get boring rolled oats.
It tastes like shit though.
Yeah, but just put some fruit in it. Put a banana in it and that. And everything you want, it takes work. It's effort.
I know, yeah.
Everybody wants this quick fix. That's why all these fad diets blow up. Because everyone's like, oh, brilliant. There's something I could do without having to do anything. But like, I know if I want to lose weight, if I want to get down to the weight I want to be, that's going to take me 2 years.
Yeah.
And so you have to get your head around that. 2 years sounds long, but you go, you know what? This year, I feel like I've only just taken the Christmas decorations down.
Fuck.
And it's just about to happen again.
Yeah.
You know, you're like...
It's hard.
Time moves really fast.
But in comparison to your entire life, just taking out those 2 years to really put some effort into it. Like,
but it's easy done. It's easy done. Just little things like when we drive back from gigs, I really make an effort now not to go to the petrol station and buy some shit. I've done really well with that. McDonald's, I've gone right off it. I suddenly had a thing and I just went, this is just pure poison.
Yeah.
So I'm all right with that. But just shit. Just like, I'll have a sandwich. But then there's 800 grams of sugar in that.
Yeah.
So
I'm going off meat, man. I've had too much bad. It's like, same with Coke. I used to do Coke loads. And then when you start getting shit Coke, you're like, what's the point?
What's the point in this?
Like, the same with meat now. I was like, I'd have like a nice burger or a nice steak or whatever. Then you get shit quality or you have a shit. I had a fucking roast dinner the other day. Lamb shank, disgusting. Disgusting. And I thought, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not spending the money. And so I'll just fuck. And it's things like that really put me in such a bad mood. Because I love food. So if I have a bad meal, I'm angry for the rest of the day. So it's just like, what's the point? I'd rather just not have it, you know?
I can't. We having breakfast out, and now I can't. I've had so many bad experiences with eggs.
Oh, yes.
I can never get an egg right.
Yeah, I'll go through stages, man.
Mate, if you bring me out an egg and it's got snot, I hate that eggy snot.
You've got to take their umbilical cords out as well.
Oh, mate.
And also salmon. I heard that with salmon. I used to love salmon, but I like it properly overly done. So because one time I had this salmon, it was undercooked. And there was like a stringy, in between each flake, it was like gel. Where it wasn't cooked. And that put me off for a while, man. I was like, no.
I can't handle that. This snotty egg thing does. I with Jade, I'm like, I can't go anywhere near that. So then I'm questioning why I'm having eggs in the first place. So I don't know. Maybe I think eggs are going to go.
Would you? Then you'd be fucking vegan. Would you go vegan?
We did it actually. We did the veganuary, not last year, year before, and the weight just falls off,
Is
man.
it?
Yeah,
Oh,
we did it for the month. It's really to be vegan. It really takes discipline because you have to look at every single thing that you're buying, and then because if you don't really know what you're doing, you'll end up just having the same stuff. So I can see why people get
or skipping meals, I suppose.
Yeah, you just go, oh, what's the point? But
two of my mates, they came out with relationships last year. And like just stopped eating, like because this, like crying and this and this. They both look amazing now, and I'm like, fucking hell. For me, if I'm happy, I eat. If I'm sad, I eat.
Same.
Like nothing changes, innit? I'm like, fuck's sake. Like I've had enough trauma that I could easily just like not eat, but it's just hard because it brings me joy. If you have nice food or whatever, it's not like necessarily like comfort eating because I don't do it to excess, but. It's like I'm not going to say no to it or be like, no, I can't eat, I'm too upset.
It's funny, my brain, because I keep saying to myself, I've got to cut down on sugar. I don't have sugar in tea and coffee and things like that, and we don't have normal milk now. We have all that almond milk and
I
oat milk.
almond milk, yeah.
So because at the moment I keep fetishising Angel Delight, Turkish Delight. Yeah, I keep trying to find that and Star Bars, and I keep like this last week.
Star Bars?
Yeah, mate.
What the fuck is that?
What, you don't know what a Star Bar is?
Nah.
What are you talking about?
Are you saying the old fashioned name? Is it? What is this?
I was on my penny farthing the other day. I've just come back from seeing. Come back from lighting the street lamps.
Okay, you sent opal fruits and that later. Yeah. What's Star Bar? What is that?
Star Bar is it's like like a Boost. But it's got peanuts in it and things like that. It's proper.
Okay, I'm going to Google this.
Chocolate and caramel.
I've not. This is a new.
Yeah. How old are you?
28.
Oh, this is why.
Star Bar.
You fucking baby.
I've never ever seen a Star Bar in my life.
This child abuse.
I've never seen that in my life.
You must have done. What was your go-to then? What?
That's a 2 bob boost.
That's before Boost. Starbar was the original, mate.
And that's still
Yeah,
it's
and it kicks the shit out of Boost. Boost can fuck off. And now Boost is like trying to show itself as like some kind of energy fitness bar.
Look.
No, Starbar was first. Don't you start. Jade Adams comes.
Fucking Boost.
Starbar was first.
Now Starburst is
Right, listen to me. Right, listen, everyone listening to this, I want you to message me after you listen to this, and I want you to show these fucking babies that it was Starbar first. Starbar. Boost is for shitheads.
Boost.
It's shit. Boost, no, Boost is terrible. Starbar, mate. It was the first, the
Boost
original.
gate.
Oh, she's gone now as well.
I don't know what my go-to chocolate bar would be. I would say probably a
Whatever Nellie's eating. Or
Galaxy
Justin
Ripple,
Timberlake.
mate. Galaxy Ripple, yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Or Milky Bar buttons in it.
Milky Bar buttons. Okay, all right. Yeah, but
White
even
chocolate.
Milky Bar buttons.
The Milky Bar, that's the white ones.
No, right. I like the normal ones. But then even Dairy Milk's been fucked now because Kraft took it over, an American company. They fucked it.
It's not for me.
No, man. It used to be. I used to love Dairy Milk.
That's why they're doing all the creations, because they have to, you know what I mean? When it's like when they do the popping candy,
Oh,
the Oreo
yeah.
inside it, the fucking soft sweet, and then all that. It's like all the creation special. There's about 20 different types now, because you can't just have a normal Dairy Milk bar because it tastes like shit.
Yeah,
innit?
exactly.
So they're trying to rebrand. It's interesting actually when they try and rebrand something that's already there. I've seen like comedians try and do that, and like other artists.
Try and rebrand themselves.
Yeah, even though when they're already known as something, and then they come back and say, "Oh, it's mad." I was like, hard
Funnily
to
enough,
do it.
though, you know, a bit like you.
Hey! Well, I
In a
don't
good
know.
way, though. In a good way.
Do you know what? I don't. No. What I'm doing is it's not a rebranding. It's an evolution.
Okay.
Evolution.
Yeah.
It's like I'm evolving into just a different phase of my life creatively. I think that's.
Yeah.
I'm still the same. I'm still the same comic. I just like hopefully I'm getting better,
Yeah.
and then I'm just trying to add in other elements of things that I really enjoy doing as
I
well.
think the difference is because you're doing it because you want to do it because you're very passionate about poetry and spoken word. The poetry sounds fucking
Well,
weird.
it's actually
Spoken
it's called word actually. Like the stuff that I do with the music, it's been recognised as a genre. So there's not many people doing it, and there's a few different radio stations that are starting to do it. It's called word.
Yeah.
That's it, word. And like
It's
I think that's
it's very sort of Gil Scott Heron. He used to do that sort of thing way back in. I can't
it's
remember.
cool, man.
Yeah, I love it.
like
Well, your stuff's brilliant. I think it's great.
Because I feel like it's in between. It's in between spoken word and rap. It's in a weird like grey area.
But we're
Which
going to
just
put
makes
your
it nice to
at the
listen
end of
to.
this. We're going to put. You sent me one. And
The Never Lost. That video.
and
Yeah, yeah.
So people listen to this, listen to the end because at the end of this one, Sarah's word. What do you call it? Track.
Word
Something
track.
like-
Yeah, yeah,
word
track.
track.
Yeah.
That's it. What do you call it? What do you kids call it now? We're going to put on Sarah's tape at the end of this. It's called. What's it called?
The track.
Yeah.
It's called Never Lost.
Never Lost. So that'll be on the end of this. So stay tuned right to the end, peeps. Nice one. But I think it's really cool.
Thanks.
I was a big fan of Gil Scott Heron. So when you sent me that, I thought it was fucking great. And it had, I said to you, it had elements of like 90s.
Yeah, that was a sitcom.
Yeah. There was that. It was that record they were Talking Loud. Did sort of like Galliano and Young Disciples and all them.
Yeah.
And I definitely got that from listening to it. In the 90s, that was I fucking love all that.
That's the sound I want to go
Yeah.
with, like just a chilled vibe that you just listen to it in the car or just at home.
I think it's sort of making a bit of a comeback. There's some like my lad Bailey. Some of the stuff he sends me is very laid back, sort of funk soul.
Big up Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey boy, and it's nice to hear it because it was I used to listen to that like Acid Jazz and Talking Loud were my two go-to labels.
Yeah.
Whatever they put out on those labels, I just used to buy it. I didn't even need to listen to it.
Yeah. You just know it's
So
legit.
so it's nice to hear that sort of thing's coming back because it's fucking great. But do you enjoy that more than comedy, or do you enjoy it the same? Or
I enjoy them both just in different ways. I get different things out of them, you know what I mean? Like, I've said this a couple of times on different podcasts, is like my comedy is my ego, you know, and I love making people laugh and that element of performance and stuff and laughing at things that, you know, that might be hurtful to you, or different topics that are relatable to other people and stuff, and it's nice, and the compliments you get are just different. But then when you do poetry, because it is so raw and real, and you are stripping back so many more layers of yourself which you wouldn't necessarily be able to do with comedy, that's my heart, you know what I mean? So they're both enjoyable, but they're very different art forms, you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
But it's like the performance, and it's a different type of performing as well.
Yeah.
So I'm able to now exercise both of those sort of skills, which is nice. And I never ever thought I'd really go into poetry. It just sort of happened, and
I think there's more. Well, I think there's, because you say there were. Before I did this thing called Stand Up and Slam, which is poets v.
That.
I should do it. It's really good fun. Poets v comedians in like a rap battle, like 8 Mile type thing. And through doing that, because I didn't know there was a poetry scene. I didn't know.
Neither did I.
No, I sort of knew. I like the poetry. I like the stuff like John Cooper Clarke and what's that Liverpudlian guy called? Can't remember his name. I'm so shit at remembering names, mate. I've got to get out exercising. My brain's dissolving. Roger McGough, fucking brilliant. Roger McGough, John Hegley as well. All them. And because when I was a kid, Pam Ayres was famous, and Pam Ayres was a poet, and she was on like primetime telly.
Wow.
And so I sort of associate poetry with that. It was quite twee and very 70s.
Yeah.
You know, she was a little bit risque. You know, she was better than I'm saying she is. She was all right. But I sort of associated poetry with, you know, with a bit shit. And then do Stand Up and Slam and seeing some of the people like we were up against, like there's Gramsci, who's fucking great, and a few others, and you're like, holy shit, this is really something I could get into. To the point in some of my notebooks, I've written poems.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oi.
Just like, because I really like it. I think it's great. And I think people like you doing it are like making it cool.
Thanks.
You know? It's
so.
giving it that, because you're very, very, for want of a better word, if people first meet you, you're very sort of, you're like this streetwise kid, like bopping around, like, you know, you're a little bit naughty, but you know what I mean? You give that, you're like this like a female Oliver Twist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
In a good way. But the poetry in that, it shows this other side to you, which I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've always, ever since I've known you, we've always got on. But I didn't know that side of you. I just saw like this, I don't know, because you're an angry woman. With reason. You have every reason to be like the shit that you've been through. That's what amazes me, is that when I find bits out about your backstory, the fact that you're still able to be positive, especially the shit you've been through in the last couple of years, you're still able to go, do you know what? I'll fucking show you.
Yeah.
You don't let it get to you.
Yeah.
And I find that really inspiring.
Thank you. I mean, I really don't have another choice.
No.
Like, and I have been at that point a couple of times in my life where you have two options. You either kill yourself and you're dead and that's it, boom, done, or you carry on.
Yeah.
And you know, death is really not an option for me. So, because I've been in that place and I've been very, very close to that, and it's you have these sort of light bulb moments, and the only thing is, it's like, you know, like fake it till you make it. It's like, if you are like positive and you do your positive affirmations and you verbally like say things, and you can trick your brain. It's like if you smile in the mirror, even if you're feeling sad, you smile in the mirror for 2 minutes and you feel stupid just standing in the mirror smiling, but it tricks your brain because the serotonin, all the endorphins in your brain get released, because you're making that movement.
Yeah, right.
So then you do walk out the house happy. It's just like, it's all chemical. Like, this ain't gobbledygook fucking hippie bullshit. It's science, you know what I mean? It's actual chemicals in your fucking body and that. So I just try and do all that. And even in my head, I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. If you do it for long enough, then it becomes routine. Then because you are emitting all these positive vibes and this energy, it's a mirror, and things start getting attracted back to you. Then you become, I've had a really good day today. I've had another really good day. Now this job's come in. And then it's just a snowball effect. Your life can spiral out of control, but it can also spiral into control. It's just perception. And once you change your perception and you start thinking more positively, it breeds. You know what I mean? Same way, I can't hang around with people like this because I was this person that are like, fucking hell, this is shit and this is shit. Oh, now it's raining. Oh, yeah. People like that, I'm telling you now, they get more colds than anyone else I've seen. They have more illnesses. There's a girl, I'm not going to name her, she's on my... a girl I used to go to school with years ago. She's on my Instagram, and every Insta story she does, it's her complaining about something, moaning about something. She's hurt her leg, she's sprained her wrist, then she's got a cold. I'm like, it's because you are so negative.
Yeah.
Positive attitude, I'm not joking to you, like, you will live a longer life. It's as simple
absolutely.
as that. It's as simple as that. Like, so that's what I tried to do. It's like fake it till you make it. Like, I was so upset and I was like almost pretending to be happy, and now I am genuinely so happy. It's because I put the work in. It's just funny, we were talking about like fitness and stuff. You have to put the work in.
Yep.
Even when you're feeling shit, you have to go up and do that run. I'm tired, I can't be fucked. You have to say no to that McDonald's, and it's hard, but you make these sacrifices to get the good body, to get the good health. And I've had to do this mentally because, you know, it's the same as physical health. Mental health is just as important, if not more so. Put in that time, you know, cutting certain negative people out of your life, making some changes, changing your perspective, learning new things, and then you get to this stage and like, fuck, that was all worth it.
When you do that, it's just little things like when you go, I'm gonna get a McDonald's, and then you go, I'm not gonna get a McDonald's. Just that little turn, like you do, and then you drive away, and it might feel really insignificant. You go,
but it's achievement. You should be proud of yourself.
Exactly.
You've done that,
and then you do that the next time, and go, and then all of a sudden, you're 2 weeks in and you haven't had a McDonald's because you've been, and it'll build up quickly. This is the thing, like we were saying just now about, you know, it's going to take me 2 years to lose the weight I want to lose, but that's going to go really quickly. If you're just doing stuff, keeping busy, then it's going to fly by. But
and then the more time you do, then you don't want to ruin it because you're like, fuck, it's been 2 weeks. I don't want to fuck it up and start from like number one again. Yeah.
But listening to shit you've been through, it makes me realise. I mean, I've said this before. My dad had a troubled upbringing, and so I love my dad, and he is a top boy, but he had his issues. He was a very angry man when I was a kid, but now I'm older, so I look back and I'm like, I get it. I get it now. You know, I don't walk around going, oh, fucking cunt. But because you had a difficult one with your dad, and I suppose you're like half my age, so, and that's not me patronising you. I know when I was your age, I was fucking angry. I had loads of shit that had gone on in my early 20s and things like that. So I was very in the 90s, in my 20s, I was angry. I took it out on everybody. How are you finding?
I'm definitely, as I'm getting older, like rationalising, like, because I've over the years found out more about his childhood and shit that went on before I was born with him and my mum and that, which led him to the way he was in different series of events throughout my childhood. I can rationalise and understand why he is the way he is. Doesn't mean I forgive him.
No.
But it means I get it and I understand, and so I'm not as angry as I was when I was younger. I did a poem that's it's quite drum and bassy actually, called Growing. It's on SoundCloud if anyone wants to hear about my relationship with my dad and what happened and stuff. Just listen to that basically, and it tells you everything. But I think the anger's definitely subsided, and now it's more just like I've accepted I'm never really gonna have a dad that I'm like, oh, I love my dad. That part of me will never exist. It will never.
Was it that bad then?
I mean, it's weird. It is like a piece of me that is missing, but I've just accepted it. And now I just fuel my art with it. That's it, really. And I try and keep my daddy issues under control, which is hard. But no, it's just the way it is, isn't it? And luckily, you know, my mum's side of the family and my mum, and I'm very close to my mum, my brother, and I did have a lot of love during my childhood as well.
Yeah. And were they together, your mum and dad?
They were together, and then they got divorced when I was 11.
Right.
And then I didn't see him for a while, a long time, and then we got back in contact when his mum died in 2016.
Yeah.
So it's relative 16, 17, 18, 19, so like almost 4 years ago. That's so.
Yeah, right.
It's been a bit weird, but he lives in Thailand, isn't it? So I don't even see him that much.
No.
Comes back a couple of times a year.
Right.
It's weird, but it's all I know, innit?
Yeah.
So the one thing is, I do get jealous, like when I see Like, or when I have female friends that talk about their relationship with their dad, like, oh, I love my dad, or like, I'm just hanging out with I think I will always have a slight jealousy. Not that it will affect me or my relationship with those people, but something in my heart will be like, oh, I wish I had that.
Yeah.
Because I will never ever know how that feels, ever.
No.
That's the thing I can't get my head around, and like, yeah.
But you've got a nice relationship with your mum.
Yeah, so that's the way I look at it. Again, I just try and be positive. I don't focus on the negative. Like, some people have fucked up mothers as well, or they have no parents, or you know what I mean. It's just like I've got a wicked relationship with my mum, and she's amazing. And like my grandparents on that side, and my brother and my niece and stuff. So I've got love around me.
Did this affect your relationships with men?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Was there a resentment, or did you sort of seek in male partners what you sort of was lacking with your dad? Maybe?
Yeah, well, I think I subconsciously put out a vibe of love me, look after me. I don't really know, but only because of the type of men I've been connected with in the past. I haven't consciously done that. It's almost like just a thing.
Just a vibe you're putting out.
And unfortunately, a few of the men have taken advantage of that. But in terms of what I'm doing, I didn't know I'm doing that. Now I'm because this whole year's been a very journey of self-discovery and like analysing myself and self-reflection and stuff. Like, what am I doing? What could I do better and stuff? So I think I need to get rid of the whole thing of like. I mean, I'm old school, in terms of I want the man to like look after me and shit.
Yeah.
I can have what's the word, like a chivalrous man in my life, or a romantic man. That's totally fine, but I think it needs to end there. I should never expect a man to look after me because they ain't my dad, and in a relationship you need to be equals in it. So that's
it should just happen in a relationship.
Yeah.
You sort of look after each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I need to stop, subconsciously or not, putting that pressure or putting that vibe out, and for me to do that is just concentrating on myself, being focused in my career, getting my funds in, moving out, doing all this stuff, and just becoming so self-sufficient that I am completely whole, and any man that comes into my life is literally adding to my life. They are not filling a hole that is missing. They are adding. Yeah. So when they go away, I'm still whole. Yeah. It's not like, oh my God, you've ruined me. Like, what am I going to do without you? It's like, no, okay, that's upsetting, but I'm cool. Yeah. And I think, if I'm being honest, I'm not in that stage yet. So I can't be with anyone because I am still, the only person that can fix yourself is you. And I'm feeling parts of me like, you should never like if money makes you happy, or looking a certain way makes you happy, or a man, like, fuck all that shit, man. It all comes from inside, and it's a hard, long journey, innit? But I think I'm doing good. I think I'm like 85, 90% there.
Yeah, well, you're doing great. I mean, what you've come out of was really fucking hardcore. Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know the half of it, but I know bits, but from what I know, I mean, fucking hell.
Super toxic, yeah.
Yeah, and you're never. You won't get over that in.
I'm in therapy. I'm going to therapy for the first time, and.
But was it a case of? I don't know. Was it like? Because when you're in a toxic relationship like that, you just blame yourself completely.
Yeah. I used to blame myself, but now I just hate myself for being so naive, I guess. And a lot of people say, oh, you're being too hard on yourself, whatever, but it's hard. The hatred, there's a lot of hatred there, and necessarily not on other people, just on myself. Like, you fucking idiot, but why did you stay for so long? Like,
but you were given, from what I can gather, you were told certain things, and there was promises made. Yeah. And I've got to be honest, I've been in relationships where I reckon, this is when I said to you earlier, certain people they want you around for a bit, and then they don't want you around anymore. They've had what they wanted, and they don't want to be around you. And I've been guilty of being like that. And then as soon as that person, I feel that they're moving on, or they do it, they're sort of like, that's when I'm like, oh, I really want to be with that person. And then I'll just say it. I would say anything it would take to make that person still focus on me. It's a fucking cunt trick. It's really shitty. It's very manipulative. And then as soon as I got them back,
don't want them anymore.
My heart would go, oh yeah, we don't want this. Shit. All right, I thought we did. No. And but it's not because I wanted to hurt that person. It's because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted. I thought you were lost. Yeah, and those feelings would. I'd hear someone would go, oh, have you heard? So-and-so's. She's seeing blah blah blah, and I'd suddenly be just filled with jealousy and like, oh no, we're supposed to be together, and then I'd be contacting them, and going to see them and go, oh, I thought me and you had this thing, and then you're saying all this fucking bullshit because that's how you feel at the moment at that time. And then they go, oh, I didn't think you did. You go, yeah. And then you have this weird, like, Hollywood romantic
intense,
moment.
romantic,
You're snogging in the porch or whatever you're doing, and it's all this fucking thing. And then as soon as you feel like the pair of you are back in whatever you were in before, you inside goes, no, we don't want to do this.
I think ultimately it's when people are living in a life when they're not in control of many things, and so they're just trying to find anything that they can control because that gives them an element of status and importance and purpose.
It's definitely
it's all fake, man. It's all fake. It's like you are, really, if you're trying to do that and control another human, then you really are a nobody, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that was it. It was low self-esteem and shit that I was dealing with, and that was how I was dealing with it.
Yeah.
And so, hearing...
But it's cool you're self-aware about that. A lot of people aren't aware they're even doing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nice, like, that one, you can admit it, two, you can look back and be like, fucking hell, and know that you'd never do that again.
No, man. When you see the hurt that it causes.
But some people are so deluded they can't even piece like, okay, and then I did this because of this and this. Like, it's just being self-aware is like, Jade said it earlier, and I couldn't believe it because that's why I get frustrated with people. Is like I think I don't know why more people aren't just self-aware of their behaviour and what they're doing. Yeah. So many people believe their own shit.
Yeah,
it's mad. And it's like, fucking hell. Man. Or like, I've done nothing wrong, or it's just...
Well, that's it, and they don't see the hurt because they're still lost in their own eyes. Like, but I'm the victim here.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's hurting.
And it doesn't mean that you're a fucking martyr and self-righteous.
No.
Like, there's good and bad in everyone. Everyone's done bad, but the people that are human, like yourself, where it's like you can see what you've done wrong, and then you make the steps to do better and to not do it again. You learn from your mistakes. The whole of life is trial and error. But yeah, man, the people that can't see it or never think they're doing anything wrong, psychopaths.
Psychopaths. Absolutely. That's exactly. They have no empathy for other people. Don't give a shit. Yeah.
And there's a lot on the circuit.
Mate, I know. This is what annoys me.
I just have to stay away from this.
This is what annoys me. Someone was talking about comics, and they just this blanket statement. All narcissists, all this and all that. He goes, oh, I'm not a narcissist in any way, shape or form. It's just not in me. If anything, I'm not pushy enough. I heard a brilliant thing yesterday. They were talking about a guy called Neil Innes, and Neil Innes is a comedy song writer, and there was a mock Beatles band called the Ruttles. They were sort of linked to Monty Python.
All right.
And they were saying yesterday, I was on Rule of Three, that podcast, brilliant podcast, and they were saying they were talking to Neil Innes and saying why wasn't Neil Innes bigger? Like, he's a very talented man. And then Neil Innes just said, he goes, I just didn't have very pointy elbows.
What?
Just elbowing people out of the way.
Right,
and I'm like, that's great.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, that was it. It was Kevin Eldon was talking about it, and it's a really good episode. And he was like, I didn't have very pointy elbows. And you're like, fuck, that's
what's frustrating about any sort of entertainment industry is they say the nice guy finishes last and you have to be a cunt to get to the top. But if you create your own lane, there's going to be no other congestion there. True. So I can just walk at my own pace. It don't matter. That's what I've tried to do because it was frustrating me too much. So I can literally go at the pace that I want, and when things will happen, innit? Yeah. It just takes all that stress away, and then you can actually have fun with your art instead of being like, when am I going to achieve this by this day? And I should have done this by now. And there is no timeline, innit? Yeah. Every dog has their day. There's people that have been doing comedy for 2 years that get bang, Rob Beckett got everything, he wasn't going that, and now he's on TV all the time, and there's other comedians, really, really great comedians that have been going for years and have never been on TV once.
The thing is, just because
who knows? There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, and the thing is, just because you're good at comedy doesn't necessarily mean you'll be great on TV shows.
Exactly.
It's like Lee Mack was talking about his not going out, and he just said, there's great comics out there, but they can't act. I can't just have them on because I think they're funny.
Yeah.
And it's all. So I say this a lot. If you get into things because you want to be famous, you're really going to get hurt.
Well, it's just
I want to be known.
There's going to be no substance there, innit?
No,
you will get to the top, but you'll be forgotten about because there's no substance.
I'd love people to go, Rich Wilson, he's a great comic. But I got into it because I want to be a comedian. I didn't get into it because I'm I was a stepping stone to something else. Whatever comes along, and that's great. But my main thing is comedy
Yeah.
and being good at it.
Exactly.
And people going, you're really good at it. So, but I'm really lucky. There's people I know, they don't, life's really hard. They've got a shit job. They're not happy in their relationship.
Yeah.
And, they've had kids because they thought that might fill a gap. And now they're both realising that we've fucked up and, and they don't see a way out. So I do know how lucky I am.
Yeah.
But
And you've got respect on the circuit, which is a huge thing. A lot of people strive for, like, you know what I mean? Or like you could be on TV, but people don't respect you. There's comedians on TV where their name will come up and everyone around the table will be like, oh, you fucking prick.
Yeah,
or da-da-da-da. Like, I would hate to be talked about like that.
But that's the psychopaths we were talking about, isn't it? The ones that they know they've done. We know of comics that have done some appalling things, famous ones that are getting away with it because the people that they've abused or whatever can't come forward.
Yeah.
And so I'd hate to be that. And that's the one thing I know. My conscience is clear. I've never molested anybody. And I've never.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah. And then people go, yeah, the ones who shout about it the loudest. I just haven't. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I've not been great in relationships, but I've never forced anyone to do anything they didn't want to do.
I think, yeah, definitely. But those sorts of people get exposed, and slowly it's happening now, and it's happening to things that have gone on in my life, and it feels good. It feels good, like to tell the truth and to be like open about stuff, because talking is so important for starters.
Absolutely,
in terms of mental health, and also opens up relationships with different people that you might have closed yourself off to in the past, which is nice.
Yeah.
And in an industry like this, that is so straining, and like you can get paranoid. It can really pull you under, and the jealousy, and it's just like, and the late nights and the loneliness. To have friends that you trust around you is so important.
Yeah. Yesterday, I didn't realise I'd been all day on my own, and it wasn't until I got to the Bill Murray, and then the first person I spoke to was this Luke Anthony, who I was doing a podcast with him, and I suddenly and then someone else was there. I could hear myself talking, but I was like, I'd never spoken before. I was just fucking talking bollocks. I'm like, I just had to say, I said, listen, you're the first people I've spoken to today. It's a bit weird.
You always know when that's happened to me. I mean, that happens to me quite regularly, but it's because the first person I speak to, I'm always like, I just like start reeling off like things that don't even make sense. I'll jump from subject to subject. I'm a bit like manic, and they're like, have you taken any drugs? I'm like, nah, I've had all these thoughts in my head all day. Like, and now I'm just offloading it all onto you.
I think don't be afraid to say to that person, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
You're the first person I've spoken to all day. They won't look at you like you're a wanker. They're going to laugh. You'll have a laugh. Because it's funny.
Yeah.
And it's like when you forget someone's name, don't be afraid to say, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I have drawn a complete blank. What is your name?
Yeah.
And just be honest. And if they get upset about it, then that's up to them.
It's awkward though if it goes a while and you don't know it, and then you have to.
I just do that.
Only for 2 years. I always call everyone mate.
Yeah,
or
I'm the same. Yeah.
So I don't need to say it. The only thing ever that catches me out is if it's an introduction.
Well,
like I'm introducing two people and I don't know either of the names. I'm like, fuck.
I had a blank yesterday. People were coming in and I'm like, oh God, I can't remember. Like the guy I'd been talking to. So if you listen to this, Luke Anthony, I'm really sorry, mate. There was a moment last night when people came in and I fucking forgot your name was Luke because I thought it was Anthony. So in my head I'm like, it's Anthony. No, it's Luke. It's Luke. It's your own fault for having two Christian names.
It's greedy.
So yeah, people were coming in and I just went, hey, Tom, hey, Claire, this is yeah. But don't be afraid. I think like I'm fucking contradicting myself now, but. I used to be like, oh God, I can never ask. But then I'll just go, I'm what's your name again?
Yeah.
My brain. And I think it's good because I'm older as well. So people go, you silly old cunt.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I've got to stop saying the C word.
I'm actually really proud of myself. I haven't sworn that much.
Do you know what? We did Mark Steele and there's a moment we were talking about old teachers. We must have said the C word, I don't know, 20 times.
Obviously, though, if you're talking about teachers,
it was apt. but I do say it too much. But I just love it. I love it.
It's a good word,
such
isn't
a good word. But I think that don't be afraid to say I'm really sorry, but my brain has gone too much. What was your name again? And if they get offended, go, it's not you. I've just my brain's just gone.
I think as well, don't do it when there's other people around. I've had that people do that to me before, and I'm like, you're trying to embarrass me in front of me. That is cunty.
Yeah.
But if you just say it like either quietly or just to them, then it's fine. You're not making a scene or whatever, because you're not doing it to be horrible. It's like if you genuinely forgot, you've forgotten it.
Like Jade and I have got this. What we do is that if we were in a social situation, and then Jade will go, we've got to do the name thing. I go, okay. So when we walk in, I will introduce myself. Hey, how you doing? My name's Rich. I'm Jade's partner. And they're like, oh, I'm blah blah blah. So then Jade's like, hey, because she's forgotten.
Right.
And then we do it that way. Yeah. And then the same if it's the other way around, just like we've got to do the name
first.
thing.
Yeah, I like that. Teamwork.
That's a good technique.
Yeah.
Just go, we've got to do the name thing. So that your partner will introduce themselves first, and then you get the names. Yeah. Little hint, little life hack for you.
It's all good if you've got a partner though. If you're on your own,
do it if you've got a mate. If you've got a mate, do it with a mate. Do it with a mate.
I'll just bring my mate to every gig I do now. They could save me.
If you're walking in on your own, got to do the name thing. Oh fuck, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
Shit. But when you're in that toxic environment, there's so many layers, and you get bogged down in so much stuff and so many promises, and your self-esteem's fucked, and you're just. I've been in toxic relationships before, and it wasn't even of my doing. I really tried my best to make it work, and then this other person was just because she'd had a terrible time with her dad, and so she was just downloading all the love and hate on whoever would come along. So she'd take whoever she met, and she'd put them in this dad-shaped hole.
Yeah.
And then just download all the hate and everything that she had for him. And I remember saying to her, I'm like, we have to stop this. We have to stop it because it's fucking nuts. And then because it was so brutal. When she was nice, it was like an island of relief, and you're like, so so relieved. You go like, oh wow, yeah, right, this is the person I.
It's that glimmer of hope.
Yeah, and you're like, this is it. Yeah, we should definitely be together. And then they've got you again, and then the shit starts. And it's it's like a strange hazy bubble, isn't it? You know, I think the thing is with me, because this guy was considerably a lot older than me, you can get a grip on someone by making them codependent. You know. Yeah. And then it's very hard to get out of it, and the promises and you were quite young when you met him, weren't you?
I was very young. I was 19, so it's fucking hell. If I met 19-year-old me now, you know what I mean? It sounds so young, but at the time it's like, you think you know everything. I'm hard, no one can hurt me, I'm so self-aware, this and this, but really you are just a fucking naive kid. That's exactly what it is. And now, and then 10 years later, I look back and I'm a different person. My views have changed, my morals have changed, hopefully I've matured, I've learned a few different things as well, and in the next 10 years I'll change again. But at this age now, I look back and I'm like, fucking hell, you're so dumb. But yeah, I need to be easier on myself, because every 19-year-old is, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And then you've got someone who's a bit older.
Way older. And they know what they're doing.
Of course they do. And then they've come in, and then because they're older, you just assume that they know best.
And they've got you sussed because they know about your backstory, and so they know the right things to say and how to get you. And it's very calculated, very manipulative, and very... It's psychopathic behaviour, really. But then, and it's bad. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I read a few books about psychopaths recently, and everything is the same as this person, and it's just like, wow. Well,
I know him, and it's like I got sucked in. You kind of go, oh shit, I didn't know that about you. I thought we were kind of similar.
Yeah.
And then as you get into it, you go, we are nothing like each other. Then
it's a shame.
Yeah, and then you're like, I've got to work with this person. Well, maybe not, but
Probably not. I don't think you two are at the same gigs. Nah. It's cool, it's all right.
It's a shame, because I did like him. When I first met him, I thought I liked him. And then,
so did I.
And then when I found out what had been going on, you're like, shit. This has been happening a lot lately. there's a few.
So common. It's a very, very common
mate,
situation. What I went through is not. Yeah, it's not a shocker. It's not a shocking story in terms of how many girls and how many situations this happened. I mean, you obviously even went, not in terms of toxic, but some mad craziness in it.
Yeah.
On the build up to your relationship now, so it's just like fuck.
I don't know if it's because of the industry we're in or if this is just how it is in life. But lately, even today, I got a message today saying from someone. I've only met her once, and she just said, "There's a guy on the circuit that is messaging women inappropriately, and and he doesn't seem to give a shit." And I don't know. I keep hearing these stories. I've heard a few about people that I know, and I've had a conversation with one of them. And just said, "Look, I've now got this information in my head. I don't know what to do about it because the person that's accusing you is very trustworthy. I trust what they've said, but they can't come forward. So now I'm lumbered with this information. What do I do? You know, do I say something? Do I? You know, I'm not gonna. It's not my place to say something out loud, but it's like I see all the time. There's a lot of female comedians saying like, we got to out the sex offenders and we've got to do this. One of them that's saying all this stuff, she's friends with this fella that I know about, and so on the one hand she's going, oh, we need to out the sex offenders and we need to do this, but then she's like not saying anything about the one she knows she's friends with, and she knows what's been said, and it's like, I don't know what to do. It's
a shame because a lot of women get this and run with it. It's like, you know, people take it too far. It's like you were saying, you know, I'll sending a saucy message to somebody, and then it's like, oh my God, don't speak to this guy. If someone sends you an inappropriate message, you don't like it, you ignore it and you block them. I would never start muck spreading or being like, no, fuck this guy. I might say in passing, oh, they're a bit of like a weirdo, like they sent me a really weird message like 2 a.m, or even like even a dick or anything like that. It's not something for me to like get extremely upset about, or to go to the police about, or start being like let's ruin this man's career. It's there needs to be levels to this. If someone is persistently messaging, if someone is putting your life in danger, you're scared of them, or they've physically attacked you, fair enough. If you think that person is a danger to the rest of society or to other females or whatever, but it's some women that are so fucking jumped up. They'll just get one little thing and be like, because they've got, a lot of the time these women don't have much going on in their lives. Yeah. So everyone wants to be part of something. So it's like, oh, now I'm part of this crew. So now we can all get together and we can all be women that have had these weird experiences with guys, and we can all be girls together hating on men or exposing people. So they feel like they're part of something, they're safe and they're protected in this little bubble thing. So which is great for genuine victims. But if you are ruining someone's career and wanting and being spiteful and muck spreading, where do we draw the line? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm all for people getting convicted and really like, you know, stopping people from doing certain gigs and blacklisting them if they're like a rapist, or if, you know, that sort of thing. I'm all for it. You know, I'm never gonna, you know, condone any of that fucking behaviour. But little messages and things like that, I don't think we are teaching women enough to be stronger in their responses. Feminists want to be strong in other areas, but when it comes to that, suddenly they're a little girl that didn't know what to say, and I froze and I didn't. Just social media is very, very easy to get rid of someone. You just block them. Yeah. You literally just block them and you go to bed and you don't even think about it. Yeah. If someone's banging the door, obviously call out Bill, innit? And that's a lot of the time. It's you know, when you say, why didn't you go to the police? Oh, they don't do nothing. It's like, well, they're still going to log it. Yeah. If you go police, they don't do nothing. Someone else goes police, they don't do nothing. Soon they're going to have a file this big, like, fucking hell, this guy's done this to 10 women. It is important. I worked in a nursery, and you had to log or write down anything you saw, as big or sort of, you know, after the whole baby pee thing and all that. A lot of things got brushed on the carpet. So, it's fine, it's normal. You know, a boy, you know, he's a little kid, he's going to have a bang on his head. Whether it's accident or not, you log it. You log everything. Yeah. And that's what it should be with these sort of things. If you've got a man messaging you some mad shit, call the police, bang. Yeah. If it's affecting you that much, but they won't. They'll just go to other comedians and try and do that. And for me, I think that's more dangerous, because if you're not taking the right things to put a stop to it, they are just going to do it to more and more women. Yeah, you know? Yeah, that's why I'm being a bit more vocal about my situation, because it's people need to know. Yeah. People need to know, and it's not something I could go to the police with. It's not like that. It's nothing like that. But in terms of exposing fakes and liars and psychopaths, I'm about the truth, you know what I mean? And it's very cathartic for me. And
especially if you see that person doing a similar thing with someone else, and you're like, oh,
consistently, he's done it. Well, the whole before me, during me, after me.
During?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So it's like, but that's his life and that's what he wants to do. Fair enough, but you know. You can't have these people walking around thinking that's normal. It's not normal.
And that's it, isn't it? It comes down to having self-respect, isn't it? And going, I'm better than that. Even though this is like we said before, these people will make you feel so worthless that any kind of positivity they send your way, any kind of promise that they make, you latch onto it because you're like, that's all you feel you deserve. So it's trying to find some self-respect and self-worth, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's so detrimental to somebody's mental health. Like, to be so young and to have your fucking brain mashed up like that. It's crazy. Like, I'm in therapy. Like, I don't know how many years this is going to affect me for, if it's going to affect future relationships. It's fucked. So, you know, why should someone get away with that? That's what I think.
What I like you've just, like what you were just saying is that it hasn't affected your... Because there's some people that something will happen to them and then it's like all men are wankers, all men are evil. And I get it, I get why that happens, but you still don't seem to have that. No. You've not sunk to that. You're kind of going, no, I get it. There's more. There's more grey area to these things. Not all men are the same.
Yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, there's different levels to it. And like I was saying before, like all men are going to try and shoot their shot, innit? So I feel sorry for guys in a way that, like, it must be hard. It's always on the man to make the first move. If you're in a bar, you want the man to come over, you want the man to ask for your number, you want the man to message first. Like, if you're not very confident, how do you... It must be such a nerve-wracking thing to be like...
And then they're like, oh, he wasn't very confident.
So it comes out... It might come out in a way of like, bleh, you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to maybe be cool and it comes out as like really creepy or a bit too harsh. Sometimes they do it on purpose. Other times, they just don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to speak to women. They might not have had much experience. They're shooting their shot and then they're getting shut down straight away like, no. So the way women get fucking fucked over by men and then it's all men are trash, fuck all men. You think a man that gets rejected by a woman time and time and time again ain't just going to be like, oh, well, all women are whores anyway. And this is the way I'm going to speak to them because you're all fucking slags. So the next time I come up to them, I'm not going to be like, hey, like, you're right, like, would you like to go for a drink? It's going to be something a bit inappropriate. Yeah. That might have manifested over years. You don't know that. I'm not saying that it's right.
No.
You can analyse everything, you know what I mean? And a lot of it doesn't come from bad. It's that learned behaviour.
But there is that assumption that...
And then you're in groups of men and the way you talk, you know, same as girls. It's just like when hate breeds, it's just more and more and more and more and then it's all fucked. And then it's easy to fucking throw stones at each other. But the way I try and be is just super neutral to the situation. And not taint people with the same brush. You know, I know women that are fucking whores and I know men that are cunts, but I'm never going to be like, all men are like, no, there's a lot of really lovely women out there. There's a lot of really lovely guys, and you have to take people's backstories into account and just judge people on their character. Yeah. That's it.
even if, I don't know, because it's all about confidence, isn't it? It's all about, so if someone comes across and says something and you're like, what? And then you should be able to say to them, well, is that really? Is that...
You need to be told, yeah.
Just go, is that really how you thought would be the best way to approach me?
You got to treat men like children. Right? When they do something wrong, don't punish the bad behaviour. You know what I mean? You need to praise the good, so and teach them why it's wrong. Like, there was a comedian, he said it to me. He said he was awful with girls when he was younger, growing up, but he had this girl best mate. And then when they'd be out and he'd go up to a girl and say something inappropriate, because again, he was just this like nerdy, I don't know how to talk to girls, but I really fancy you. And his girl mate would pull him to the side and be like, you should never say that, you've got to say this. And he'd be like, I don't think that'd be offensive. She's like, it's offensive because of boom, boom, boom. And he said, I really appreciated her telling me how it was, because that's all I needed. I just need, a lot of things, it is just education. Once people have the tools. That is why, if someone don't know something, you forgive them once. You tell them how it should be done. If they then keep doing it wrong or crossing the line, that's when you start punishing that behaviour. You know what I mean? Because if people it's like when I was doing my driving test and I'm making mistakes. Do you think I ever would have progressed if my driver just pulled over and was just like, "You're fucking shit. You're never going to be able to get out of the car now,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell all the other driving places to not fucking take you on. You're never driving a car ever again. Get the fuck out of my sight." You'd be like, "What the fuck?" No, you make a mistake. They tell you what you've done wrong, why it's wrong, and why you should do it the right way, and then you do it, and then eventually you end up driving the car and passing the test. You know?
There you go. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just got to talk to each other.
Yeah, that's all it is. Because sometimes it's not as sinister as you think.
No.
So these men that might make mistakes and then women go bang off the hook. It's like you've ruined someone's career potentially.
Yeah.
For maybe just a bit of awkwardness.
Yeah.
Men are stupid. Men are fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Like not all of them are like charismatic and charming and know how to talk to girls. So
Yeah, it's all this.
why are you punishing that?
It's
you know?
this assumption that all of a sudden we're all woke and we all know exactly the right pronouns and the right this.
None of us know what we're doing, man.
No, and it's that assumption. It's like fuck off, man.
Yeah.
We're all trying to find our way.
And the media and everything, and music has an effect. The way rappers talk about bitches and hoes. Men grow up watching porn, so they think these women are these fucking bitches. They can do whatever. It's just like no. If we strip it back and start talking, and that's why talking about the bad times is good as well.
Yeah.
Because then you find out things that you wouldn't do. There's a lot of things that I've done in my life where if I say a story to someone, they're like, "Oh, fucking hell." So that gives, even though they haven't lived it themselves, they know what they would do in that scenario.
Yeah.
Things like that, and vice versa. I've had people tell me about mad shit that's gone on, and I'm like, fuck, it's opened my eyes. I don't need to live it.
No.
Talking is so powerful, and
Absolutely.
I don't think we do it enough.
Since doing this, the things I find myself admitting that I used to be like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, man. But then I'll get someone message me and go, "I used to do that."
Yeah.
And I go, "I know." And then we have a bit of a conversation. I'm like, "I know, I can't believe I used to be that way." And I'm like, "I know." And then they'll tell me the stuff they were doing. I go, "Oh mate, yeah, same, absolutely the same." But I don't, you kind of go, "Yeah, I'm glad I'm not that anymore." And I think maybe that comes with age as well.
I think so. Yeah, I used to be like really, really judgmental, like a bitch judgmental, like. But now.
I'm still judgmental thought-wise.
Yeah, but so I'll have an instant thing, and then I'll be like, "Okay, well, why are they like that?" And then I'll go through it, and then sometimes you get to the end, you're like, "Actually, no, I'm being harsh." But obviously, sometimes you do get to the end of that thought process and be like, "No, you are just a cunt." Everything I thought about you was right. You know what I mean?
There's some. I listen to people when I first meet them, and straight away my brain's trying to suss them out.
Is it?
Yeah, I was with someone a little while ago, and they were telling me.
What do you think of me, a street urchin?
They kept telling me. They were talking about like they did certain things just to annoy people, and he's like,
"Oh, fucking hate wind-up merchants,
like,
man."
Why do you want to do that? And what do you mean? I went, "You clearly want to wind people up. Is that why did you do that?"
Status.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You're right. Having more chats with people and doing that is so important, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've realised less is more as well, you know what I mean, in terms of
I used to
proving you're a certain way.
Yes.
It's just, your vibe will
if you're just
be honest before you even open your mouth.
Exactly. I said that on this other podcast, and I'm like, what I've learned out of all of this is being honest with yourself and other people. I remember when I used to do Jonglers, and Donna, who used to work, she used to book it, and I remember her saying to me, she goes, "You're just not honest. You're not honest." And I was really offended. She goes, "You're just not honest about things." And I was like, "Oh, fuck you. How dare you?" But what she meant was being like saying to someone, "Listen, I'm not feeling it in this relationship. I'm really sorry." Whereas I would just go along with it and pretend everything was fine. But then my behaviour was obviously showing that I was, because I'd be up to no good. I'd be sleeping with other people and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then she was like, you're just not an honest man. And I was like, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I wasn't. I get it now.
Yeah.
Being told now that I'm reliable, honest, all these things, it means more to me than anything else, man.
They are
yeah.
very good compliments.
Yeah, someone to tell you you're reliable.
Yeah.
I used to get called reliable by my best mate Tom's dad, but he was taking a piss.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, where's reliable? Was he late again?
You need to go through stages. I think no one's born like that. You know what I mean? You need to go through stages. Like I'm definitely more a compassionate person than I was. Like things like that. It's not really a word you ever would have described me with 10 years ago.
No.
But now, things change, and that's because of experiences or age, innit? And wisdom and shit. And you went through certain things. That's why you are more honest now.
Yeah.
Because you know it's the only good comes from honesty.
But it's having the confidence to be honest as well.
Yeah, it's hard. And sometimes you are honest and then arguments might happen or people's feelings get hurt, but it's better than lying, eh?
Yeah.
Like
Man, the amount of lies I used to tell.
Being fake. Yeah, man. Fuck. The last 7 years have just been a whirlwind of lies for me, and it's like, it's so horrible. It eats you. It does eat you inside. That's why anyone that's happy living a life full of lies, I'm like, you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Because I know how miserable I was and how much it ate me up inside.
Yeah.
So if you're content with that, it's odd. Very odd.
All the lies I used to tell, and then the lies, then you'd have to lie because of the lie.
Yeah.
Because I've done it.
I'm not very good at detecting that. That's definitely something I need to work on.
It's just having that.
I don't know.
It's like if I see someone with their phone down, noises
Oh
off.
my God, that geezer always used to do that. Always, he used to take his phone to the bathroom, to the toilet. It would always be down, everything. It's not, it comes up like that.
No notifications.
He would get none of that. It would always be on silent, not even vibrate, nothing. The fucking locks for everything, never let me see it. Mad. Like, mad. That is just, fuck. See, that's the thing, all these red flags, I didn't pick up on them, innit? It's like, shit!
I only recognise them because that's what I used to do.
Exactly, yeah, man. Yeah, fuck. It's, wow. My situation, it has enlightened me though, because now I feel so powerful that I know all this shit.
Yeah.
Because I've lived it and I know the warning signs now. Like,
best thing.
It's good.
The best thing I've said this before, I know I have, is that I can leave my phone anywhere.
Yeah.
Like Jade's busted her. She dropped it in the sink the other day, and so she hasn't got a phone. And yesterday I said to her, why don't you just take mine?
That's amazing.
Never have said that a few years ago. Are you kidding?
That's
but now I'm like, because there's nothing. I've got literally nothing to hide. And if someone out of the blue was to message me with something like...
That's their issue.
It's like, well, it's obviously... I obviously haven't encouraged that. So
what an amazing place to be. I'd love to.
It's a really nice place to be. Like today, Jade's been on my phone all afternoon. And I haven't... I would be sort of up and down, like looking over.
What are you doing there? Don't go in those messages.
Yeah. I thought well, what are you swiping for?
I used to like all these things like. I find it so funny now looking back. But one time with this guy in particular, I would like message him on like Insta message. And like a couple of times, and we'd be talking on WhatsApp, whatever. And then he'd suddenly say, "Oh, why didn't you?" And I've now been on Instagram a lot. Yeah. And I'll say, I sent you that video on Insta? Did you not watch it? He said, "Oh, I didn't know you can get Insta messages." I'm like, didn't know about Insta messages. Come on, man. But that's another good trick. I didn't know about it, just so they can ignore you. Or it's like when they've been responding to other people in those messages and those DMs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And especially because that's another thing, then he thinks if I did go on his phone, that wouldn't be somewhere that I would look.
Yeah,
so
right.
I speak to people on Insta message. It's such these little tricks. Like,
funny,
I could never be that calculated. It's mad. That's why I always get caught out if I ever try and lie, because I'm just shit.
Yeah, mate.
I can't do it. Rubbish.
It's fun. Having done all those things, I recognise it all the time. Yeah. And the things that people say, like mates, they'll be chatting away to me, and I'll just be looking at them going,
"You're chatting shit.
Don't talk bollocks, mate. I know what you're doing because I've chatted the shit. You know, just be honest. It's being honest is the way to go."
Well, it's like you said, because it is so hard. It's a reflection of themselves, innit? Like, but I got so frustrated and angry and upset trying to understand people in my life that were hurting me. Eventually, the best way, and again, this is another hard thing to do, but you just have to cut them off, because it's like, I will never understand you. We will never be the same people. We're never going to make peace. You have to just cut them all off and just surround yourself with just good people that are on your same wavelength, and then move forward that way, because you're only gonna. It's like when they say don't argue with an idiot, because they'll bring you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Why? I've got too much shit going on to waste my time trying to understand you, because there is no friendship that I'm trying to salvage here. So just go fuck yourself. I'm going to go in this direction, and that makes it quite a lonely time sometimes, because you might have to cut. I mean, I've cut off loads of people this year. It feels good now.
Yeah, but
because I'm not trying to second guess people. Like, oh, what does that mean? Or like, oh, are they lying? Are they not? It's just. You want to just chat to people and just believe what they say and have a laugh and a good time and a chit chat.
All that other shit.
I don't want to be thinking about other shit. I've got my own trauma going on.
I don't need a puzzle. I just want to have a chat, mate.
It's God. Or people that are like, trying to get something out of you. There's a lot of parasites in this
Oh God,
industry,
yeah.
man. It's just, it makes me feel so uneasy. I'm just like, because I'm just not like that, you know. And it's just it's difficult. There's been so many times where I just wanted to quit comedy. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this, innit? I'm more than this. I don't need this. I wasn't bullied at school. I'm not like trying to be cool. I know I'm cool. I don't have to act cool. I don't need to pull a stool out onto the middle of the stage and sit on it and fucking take my jacket off and lean it on the fucking mic stand. It's like, we take jacket off before we get on stage, mate. You don't need to sit down. You're on stage for 20 minutes, right? You ain't tired. Like, I don't need to do any of that stuff.
No.
So that's when I get in that thought process of just like, fuck all this shit. But then you need to just rise above it. And that's all you got to do, because it's like, why should I let other people stop me from doing what I love? I love being on stage. I love making people laugh. I like being creative, and what this is how I earn my money.
Yeah.
Why are you pushing me out for projecting your insecurities onto me? The fucking lying and all this like sort of like gang mentality and all the cliques and all the different the way the industry's corrupt. Like, I shouldn't let their projections change my thought process.
No.
But it's easier said than done, especially if you're having a weak day, you know, or if I've been triggered from something in my past, and it's so easy to then you go from bad thought to bad thought to bad thought, and then you're like, I'm never going to make it anyway, and no one wants me here anyway. Yeah, it's just like this shit.
I had a mad time last week before, and I genuinely in my head was like, everyone hates me. There's no point in me doing this.
Yeah.
I really thought it. I don't even know why. I just was feeling really shit. And then it took all I could do. I was like, just go to your gig. Go and do your gig. And then the gig wasn't great. And then I'm driving back. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. But then the gig it was an odd gig. It was in an odd setup, in an odd room. There weren't many in. So you were never going to fucking roof it.
Yeah.
And it was just, if you got a few laughs, you did fine. But now, I don't know, and then that just goes away again, and you're like, no, I'm fine.
It's a form of self-harm.
Yeah, but it's you have to be proactive in what you're doing, like keep pushing forward and keep working hard, and even like Scroobius Pip said, if you sit down when you're buzzing and ready for it, you'll just write the same old stuff. You'll just do the same old thing. But if you sit down to do some writing when you're not feeling it, you'll probably surprise yourself.
Yeah. The best work I've ever done in my life is when I've been in the depths of fucking hell and just the darkest place in my life. I've written some good shit.
Yeah.
So I don't. You kind of look back on those times and wish them away because they.
And I want and being in a relationship, I hear it all the time. Going, well, I can't talk to my missus, or my missus can't talk to me, or whatever. I would hate to be in that situation again. There has to be. If you're you should be able to be, and I know I know it's easier said than done, but you should, if you've made a decision to be with someone, you should be able to talk to that person, and they should be able to talk to you. If you can't, then why are you together? You've made a decision to form a bond and a partnership, which means you're in this together, which means you basically become one person.
Yeah. You have to be a team.
Yeah, if you can't be a team, what's the point? You know, and they go, "Oh, you stay together for the kids." The kids aren't going to thank you for that. You're, you know, I know.
Sometimes it's detrimental to their upbringing if you stay together.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. But then it's financially you can't split up.
Yeah,
because you can't afford to.
It's never love.
No,
it's never love. It's so rare to meet a couple that are together purely for love, and that is why if you fuck off all these other, as many issues as you possibly can, like codependency, this and this, but you'll always find a reason. Like money, kids, family members, like jobs. I was chatting to a guy who said he started dating this girl really early days. Didn't really know how he felt about it. Like they'd been on like 5 dates. Then she got really ill. Right. Like she was in hospital and stuff, and then he was having to go down the hospital and see her, and it went from like a couple of dates to wow, I've met all of your family, you've nearly died, I'm here by your bedside holding your hand, I'm now like supporting you through this whole process. Shit. You come out of hospital and it's like, oh, now we're like in love, and that you haven't had that middle period, and it's all just like fuck, you know, and then how do you get out of that? Because then it's only like when you're in the relationship then you start kind of going backwards in a way. Doing the dates and finding out, and then that's an excuse. So he was like, how could I call it off with her when she's so ill? And then when she got better, I just dump her then. It just didn't, you know what I mean? So it's just like, again, excuses. I am a big romantic. I wish love was enough. I love love. I romanticise it. I love fairy tales and the stories, and I just wish And unfortunately, I've learned that the hard way. Love is not enough.
No.
Love is never enough. It counts for a lot.
Yeah.
And that's probably the harshest lesson in life in general. I'm just like, fuck that shit. And I haven't yet thought of a positive spin to that.
No.
Because that's just the cold, harsh truth.
Yeah. Do you know what love feels like? Have you felt it? Like, there's a comedian, I keep mentioning him because I only discovered him this year. It's an American comic called Callaghan.
Oh yeah, I gigged with him in Australia.
You're fucking kidding.
Yeah, loads. We were doing a lot of shows
I love
together.
Callaghan.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
madness.
Yeah.
Honestly, I listen to him every day.
That's jokes.
He's got that bit, and he talks about being in the shower, and he's like, he's listening. He's listening to the Commodores, and he goes, okay, so let's think it. Have I ever been in love? He's like, well, not the way they sing about it, but it's true. Knowing what real love feels like, because there is a difference between lust and love.
For sure.
I know I've been in love. I loved my ex-wife. I think I've loved everyone I've ever been with.
Love comes in loads of different forms, isn't it? And actually, like, love is not a thing. Like, it's an umbrella of different things, and trust and loyalty and all that shit.
I think it's like you say. I think it's thinking that love is the cement.
It's not one thing, and also it's like it's a verb, isn't it? It's a doing word. So it's like you can't say we're in love. It's like, what do you do for each other? How do you make each other feel? You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. I think I thought I was in love.
Yeah.
I don't think it was love. No. I think it was codependency.
Yes.
And
I would say, knowing what I know, yes.
And that was disguised as love. I love you, so I'm going to give you some money. I love you, so I'm going to help you with this. Giving someone things, that's how I thought that was love. The receiving of like gifts and money, or that's just control. That's you know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, but he did this for me, so that means he loves me. No, he did that because he wanted to control you.
Yeah.
And so that's been a really, really, really harsh, horrible lesson for me to learn. It still makes me upset, because at the time I did think it was love. And I genuinely loved him, and I feel like my love was taken advantage of, my feelings. Whether my love was coming from a healthy place or not is irrelevant. I know my love was coming from the daddy issues and him wanting to fill a hole that was missing, and but it don't take fact away from, I did love you. You know, I wanted to do nice things for you, and and like the way I was around you and stuff. So it's I'm excited to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
And but it will happen organically, innit? I'm more of a loving person now, just in my career and to audience members and just to people around me, my family and my friends. That love, I'm really enjoying that love at the moment. Like, I really love all the people in my life. I'm so grateful for their presence and their help and shit. And I feel like that love is so much more important than a love that I'm going to get of a future partner. Because if I have this love all sussed out, and the love for myself ultimately, and who I am, and really loving my body and loving who I am, and I can look myself in the mirror and be like, nah, man, you're doing all right. And all of that will help me love a partner.
Yeah, man.
You cannot love a partner if you're not, everything else in your life ain't cool and sorted and fine and whatever. Can you imagine it's like if you get with someone, so you meet them on Tinder or whatever, and then you go to the pub and all their like mates are all cunty and all this sort of stuff. They're a reflection of who you are. How can you love that person? Like, if their situation ain't good, or this is the question I always ask people, what's your relationship like with your mum? Because that tells me a lot.
No, right,
and straight away I'm just like, man, you've got so many issues that I can't have you infiltrating my life. And I know, being honest, I can't get with someone else yet properly because I haven't sorted myself out yet. Yeah. Because again, if I do that, I'm just going to be repeating history, and we're going to fall into really unhealthy patterns, stuff that I'm projecting. I'm going to be weak to certain things. I'm going to be taking on like codependent fucking like behaviours again, and it's just gonna fucking burst into flames like it did. I know things will start snowballing and really fast in a really positive way once I've got my shit together. Yeah. And I, like, internally, that's not money and career and all that. It's just building friendships and forms with people, and really loving myself and getting my head sorted and coming to terms with things, fully coming to terms with my childhood and my dad, coming to terms with this guy and this fucker that I was with and all of that. And once I'm whole, then I'll meet someone, then I'll know what real love is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
How long that takes, I don't know, innit? But I'm positive, innit?
Yeah, but I already see the difference in you in this year. So,
Really?
yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
that makes me happy.
It's good to see. Well, like you got your head up and you're looking out rather than you're all sort of small and looking around to see where he is. Even because that's the thing, because no one knew. Because no one knew about it.
Yeah.
Although,
people suspected.
People, yeah, they knew. We all thought it was a bit weird that you were hanging out all the time. Like they ain't hiding nothing.
Cringe.
So when I found out, when someone told me, I went, well, yeah, absolutely, that makes sense. I'm not even surprised. But
oh dear,
yeah,
we all make mistakes.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's the thing, innit? It's like not judging people because they have. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you now, if you haven't had a Star Bar, go get yourself a Star Bar.
All right, yeah, I'll just go back to 1970. And
mate, listen, I've got one here.
It's the same packaging, the writing, the logo, the colours of a Boost. How can you have two chocolate bars exactly the fucking same?
Because Boost are fucking thieves, mate. It was Star Bar first.
Regardless of any of that, it's a dead chocolate.
Cheers for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
I went to this therapist, and anyone who's had therapy, they always ask, how do you feel? How are you feeling? And she asked me, she said, how do you feel? And I said, I sort of feel like through childhood trauma and suppressed emotions, I used to cry oceans so vast in hope that past experiences would drown. Salty pillows never felt good, however many times I turned them over. Even on the up, my mind pulled me down. They say I should call myself a queen, but I can't find my crown. These towns seem to suck colours from me like an emotional hoover. Changing gears constantly in order to survive, you gotta manoeuvre. Relationships so toxic, the fumes almost finish me off. You can let yourself die from a broken heart or try and glue back the pieces, but the black dog consumes me whether I like it or not. Pain lingers in moments that I've forgotten, like to surprise me on quiet days when you can hear a pin drop. The clock stops. I wish I had a hand to pull me out of this mess. Untangle the cables that fester in my head. Switch the electricity off by the mains and reboot the thing. It'd be better than the pain, but because it ain't physical, we can't see you. No. You have to have 3 attempts of suicide before we see you. Well, fuck you. I'm an invisible prisoner, no one can afford the bail. Holes in my boat and rips in the cell. No fix the bone, I don't receive any mail. Even though I sit and I wait for letters that never come. Texts that don't come through. A father's love that I never knew. Eyes tired, but the devil doesn't let me sleep. Why can't he just love me? Why can't I just love me? Trapped in this purgatory of self-destruct or recovery, the struggle is real. Not a penny to my name, it makes it harder to heal. I'm Phantom of the Opera out here masking it all, but behind closed doors my head's bouncing off the wall. But if you meet me, I'm cool. He loves being in my company. He don't know me. He hasn't seen all the sides that I'm embarrassed to be. Like if you can handle me in a bad day, then I know you're legit. And if it all goes up in flames, then we can just call it quits. Worries hang heavy on my shoulders, pushing me down into this concrete jungle. On the bright side, it's making me humble. I got reviewed last year saying I'm fame hungry. Are you mental? That is the last thing on my mind. I'm being gentle with it. Anxiety got me locked up for days. I'm moving funny. Ain't losing any weight, but always seem to be running. Billings, Zoots and Bunning. I can feel myself tumbling into something more sinister. Hands blistered from scrabbling to the top. I'm running out of letters to spell out to you the problems that I've got. Repetition is my friend, but every time she speaks, it's not what I've heard before. Occasionally showing me the open door in the hope I get the courage to walk through. Fingers crossed I hope I do too. For I've not seen the light in so long, but I have faith that it's there. Like people believe in a God they've never seen but still live in prayer. I'm scared, but I'm not done yet. With or without him, I'm bigger. They hold the gun, but I control the trigger. No more L's round here, my future says winner. I'll keep walking through hell until the fog becomes clearer. All I need is the light. The fire still burns inside of me even though it's a flicker. And I ain't tapping out until all of my dreams are delivered.